Oh, for sake.
I know. So I'm off. How are we doing? So, we've learned all about population and politics. Not a whole lot about interspecies politics, inter-empire politics, you should probably say. But we understand that happiness defines our productivity. I did say a number of times, one, that trade was very important, and two, that there are ways that we can stop and we can mitigate the happiness changes. But I didn't actually go into how to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do an actual proper start to a game using the same empires I had last time. Let's set medium is fine. It doesn't really matter. We'll have lots of people so we meet them. I don't like advanced AI starts. That can make for a very difficult game if you want to make it. I really like Fallen Empires and Marauders. Leave all them as one. We want that on Grand Admiral. Scaling difficulty off. Aggressiveness normal. Placement random is best, I think. Advanced navy doesn't matter because we don't have them. I'm going to leave them as standard. And we're going to turn Xena compatibility off. It won't actually impact the beginning of the game anyway, but we're going to turn it off just in case. Okay, right then. First thing to consider: your empire defines your play. You can have played successfully as a xenophobe empire in a lower difficulty and think that you're ready to take on the higher difficulties, and perhaps you use that empire still, you maintain that same empire as before. Okay, fine. If you use that same empire, you will have learnt how to play well with that previous empire, presumably that you actually did learn good ways to play. But if you change empire and you try and apply that same play style, even if your civics are the same, and even if your population are the same, if your demographics, your ethos, your ethics have changed, and your government style has changed, then you are going to have a bad time. Number one, we go into factions and we have a look as to what is currently affecting us. Okay, we are going to end up getting more and more authoritarians. So we need to start off with the mindset that we know we're going to get more authoritarian faction members as the game progresses. So we want to continue down the authoritarian, autocratic kind of ideal. Egalitarian, currently we're not getting them, but if we start bordering a democratic empire, I believe at least, then we are going to start getting egalitarians. So we want to consider whether or not one of my screens just crashed. We want to consider whether or not we are prepared to deal with that incursion, with that evil influx of ne'er-do-wells, or do-wells as they may well be. Okay, empire has xenophobe governing ethics. Yes. Okay. One of the points I didn't actually make clear in democracy and autocracy and that thing that Hitler was. Can't remember the word right now. Is because the ruler is picked from a leader pool. The leaders are all members of factions. So if you influence a faction to choose a specific leader, find out which faction that leader is a member of, because that faction will become happier. Now, as your Imperial, you don't take from the leader pool. That doesn't actually apply. You don't get the happiness bonus. Now, you will find that there is a greater attraction to the faction that your ruler is part of, which is why by and large it's kind of easier to run a democratic society, because your leader keeps changing all the time. Your factions sort of just smudge out. You don't end up in dictatorship, that's the word I was looking for. In dictatorship, if you have a dictatorship and you elect a leader who is a ruler of a faction that you don't like, you're stuck with them until they die. And all of the others might be rubbish. You might have really low levels, and that might be hampering you output wise, but it might keep your factions more stable. In Imperial, you have absolutely no control over that whatsoever, other than the managing of factions. Okay, right, so we currently don't have any factors on Xenophile. Militarist, we don't have any. On Pacifist, we don't have any. Spiritualist, we don't have any. And Materialist, we have Governing Ethics and then Mechanist Origins. We are always going to be fairly Mechanist. Now, we know from the previous lessons that we were looking at that there are two things that the Mechanist faction are going to be quite unhappy about. The third one is Synth Envy. We don't have to worry about that. But Science Without Borders, until we meet and create research agreements with enough populations, we're not going to have happiness there. And Dull Edge, if anyone is more than equivalent to us in tech, they will also become unhappy. So, if we are to maintain a more productive society, we are not to fall behind, because we have debuffs to our society and to our faction and to our influence income and all the rest of it. Then we are going to want to make sure that we lead the tech advantage. What we are going to start off with in this particular play, we are going to do a tech heavy one, and we're going to go for discovery first. Main reason we're going to go for discovery first is for this one. Pops with research have their upkeep reduced by 20%. Now, researchers, not only do the pops have their own consumer goods upkeep, but they also use more consumer goods to turn into research points. To reduce that by 20% is quite big. Also, once you're finished, then you can have the research fee by 10% buff, which is good. On unlocking it, you can also have the Map the Stars edict, which is quite useful. Now, one of the things that I didn't speak about in the previous one, because it was irrelevant, was anomalies. Anomalies, the reason why I don't rate science in the early game is because most of your science income at the early game comes from anomalies. You don't really need to be pushing it through your pop. Okay, right. We will go down this list and we'll do all the things that we need to do. So, policies. Expansionist, yes, good idea. We are xenophobes, so we are pretty much forced to play wide. I do have a species that I play as the precious rocks. They are habitat dwellers, they are lithivores, and they're a xenophobe megacorp, because I wanted to mix all of those things together just to see how tricky it would be to control them all. And it's good fun. They're actually a surprisingly powerful species, to be honest. Mainly though because they don't need food. Okay, policies, right then. We're not going to be able to change war philosophy just yet, but remember, whenever you change any of these policies, ultimately you're going to end up influencing your faction's attractiveness. We'll be fine with that one. Resettlement allowed, yes. First contact protocol, currently it's set as aggressive. Now, we're on Grand Admiral, and while in Nemesis first contact is going to change, I'm not 100% sure that this will do what I think it will do, but we're going to change that to peaceful and we're going to change it back to aggressive after 10 years. Because anyone that I meet dead early on, I do not want to have to worry about them seeing us as a potential target. We are going to maintain closed borders. Okay, economic policy, we're going to carry on mixed economy for now. We're going to go straight to marketplace of ideas. Robotic workers allowed, certainly. Population controls allowed. We will at some point turn that off. And there's a reason why we're going to turn that off. It does create egalitarian attraction, but there is a good reason as to why we're going to turn that off. Slavery allowed. Purge allowed. Okay, slavery is going to end up with a big push towards egalitarian. It's also going to have a push towards authoritarian. It's going to mess with the factions quite a lot. Alright, species. I'm going to set the rights. Full citizenship. Chattel slavery is turned on. Do we have any slaves as right now? No, we have servitude robots, but these guys are not slaves. Okay, the principal idea of what we're going to do is we are going to get as many robots doing the worker jobs as possible, and we're going to get as many of our biological pops doing specialist jobs as possible. Therefore, like, the actual happiness of the workers, of the robot servants, they don't matter. So if we can completely and utterly eliminate our workers as biological pops, our biological pops as workers, I should probably say, then that 36% happiness for workers is going to disappear. Now, one thing we're going to do as well, we're going to go to species, and we're going to have a look at the rights that we can set. Decent conditions currently is probably the better way to go, because rulers and specialists have better happiness, workers and slaves don't. If I could go down, I probably would go down, but I'm not going to. Social welfare would be a waste of consumer goods, because our plan is to have robots do all of the low tier jobs. Academic privilege, be very, very tempted to go for that. Plus 15%, plus 15%. Rulers and specialists also get political power. Whereas here, it's 700, 100, it's 900, 400 there, which ultimately is reducing the political influence of workers and slaves. So we're going to do that. Again, because our intention is to have all of our biological pops in specialist jobs. Okay, migration controls, we're going to turn migration controls on. And that will be that. There's nothing that we're going to be able to do for these guys until we start turning them into more sentient than just robots. Okay, ship designers, I'm going to do my standard move. There are some standard things that you can do, but there are some that you cannot do as standard. I don't have afterburners as yet. Get rid of that, thanks. Auto upgrade, we just call it Corvette, that is fine. Get rid of that. Turn that, right, take point is useful because it can encourage your allies to actually get involved in war. Anyone that's played this game for more than about 10 hours will realise that the AI is pretty damn useless when it comes to war. Okay, we only got 37 allies out of that, which is kind of disappointing, but never mind. Okay, right, we are going for a tech heavy build. Are we going to go for physics, or are we going to go for research speed? We are going to go for physics, because it's from researchers. If it was physics from research stations, then we wouldn't go for it. Pop growth speed, not going to ignore that one. Minerals would be quite good. Robots do count as miners. And we have mining guilds. So that would... we already have +1 to the job output. We already have a higher mineral output, and that would just double down on that. Mining station output +10%, and nebula refineries is nice. Nebula refineries are quite useful. Do we have a nebula? We don't. So we're not going to focus so much on the Nebula Refinery. Now, I'm not going to go for armour. I am quite a lot of trepidation about not going for armour, but I'm not going to go for it. I'm going to go for minerals, because we are going to be shifting a lot of people out of worker jobs as much as we can. So we're going to be filling up with minerals and food jobs where robots can do them, and we're going to do less in the way of technician kind of jobs. To that end, I'm very tempted to replace one of the generator districts with a mine district early on. See, the thing is, we can sell our we can sell our excess minerals in order to make money. Now, it can get down the fact that you're only selling your minerals for like 0.34. Oh, a bit dead skin on my nose that's doing me head in. So that might actually turn out to be expensive in the long run, but we'll have to deal with it. Okay, what have we got here? Charismatic, edict cost cheaper, edict duration increased. Now, we don't actually have any fading edicts at the moment. We only have ones that we can switch on, which is fortify the border. We're not going to go for fortify the border yet. Architectural sense, building cost and district cost and planetary build speed. Nice. Now that leader is going to last all the time, so I'm actually quite happy with that situation, because in the early game, doing quite a lot of chopping and changing of edicts can be quite useful, particularly fortify the border. If we go to that and show you, the upgrade speed plus 50%, really quite useful, because you will hold off building your bastions as long as you can, because they cost you alloys, and then all of a sudden then you'll build as many as you need as and when you can do that. Okay, right, look at the map. We need to define what our targets are, what our highest priority targets are. This is a big bollock, and this big bollock can only be entered through there. So we are going to prioritize surveying. If you hold down shift, you can queue up orders, and we're going to prioritize like that. The reason why I'd go that way rather than that way, because you will find your guaranteed habitable planets are typically one jump away from your home system. They can be two, but typically there'll be one. Okay, first move with the construction ship. We are going to go straight to minerals. We want as high a mineral income as we can possibly get, as early as we can possibly get. Okay, we are upgrading. Let's actually cancel the upgrade. Go away. Paradox, I don't think you're ever going to watch this, but Paradox, please, can I have that button activate to leave that panel locked out rather than locked in? There's an awful lot of UI improvements I could do with this game, there really is. Right, okay, we're going to go for science ship first, and then we're going to do the upgrade. Okay, I'm going to run on slow at start, because I don't want to miss any opportunities. Bum ba da bum bum bum. Right, well, we're not actually doing anything there. New air. We can go and have a look at what our new air is like. We'll leave it on slow. Trade value plus 10. Happiness plus 5. Nice one. Alright, so we know in about 60, probably, maybe 50 years, we're going to have a trade value spike. If we can set ourselves up for that, we can take good advantage of it in 50 years time, but it's not something we're going to stress ourselves about quite so much in the early game. Let's go fast, because, you know, people are watching this and you just don't want to be wasting people's time. It's already 20 minutes, just been gassing away. Okay, right, now we... enhancements applied. Yep, shut up, thanks. Okay, right, so we've seen that there are two exits to this particular one. They're probably both going to go there. That might be a bollock we can take, but that's also an outway. So we're not going to prioritise going down there. We're going to prioritise taking that. And our science ship that we've now got here. Right, we have an eager guy. I would take the eager guy at this point. We are then going to not explore, survey down, and we're going to see how we are here. Now, we don't know how densely populated this area of the galaxy is. We are on a very high number of empires. Shut up. A very high number of empires, so we can expect that it will be highly contested, but we don't know quite how highly contested. Is it worth going for that 2 research? Because it's going to cost us 1 energy to keep that. It's not worth it. We will just leave it there for now. I know we're going for a science heavy start, but we're not looking to completely cripple ourselves by going for that science heavy start. Okay, right, we want to get the stability up, so we can do this by prioritising clerk jobs. You see, we've gone down and we're earning less money now, but we have 0 amenities, therefore our stability has gone up, therefore our resources all over have gone up. It's not gone up by a whole lot, but we've gone up from 8, now we're on 9 alloys. Yeah, hopefully you're picking up what I'm putting down. Okay, right, what is more important? Getting that colony down early or closing off that border? We currently don't know. It's going to cost us 300 alloys to build science bases up there. We just about have the influence to do that. That's going to cost us 300 and 200 food. We don't have the consumer goods to cover that right now. We probably might have done had we not gone for academic privilege, but in going for academic privilege we have 63% happiness. Our worker happiness has actually gone up because there's more robots and less people. I think we're probably, yes, we finished constructing a robot. I think we will find out. But we want to be constantly keeping an eye on the happiness of our capital planet. Now, the earlier you do get your fledgling colonies up and running. We actually haven't built any pops yet, but you know, on its way. The earlier you get your fledgling colonies up and running, obviously the better. But the colony ships are expensive to make.
Anomaly found.
Are we going to leave that be?
Anomaly found.
Piss off. Oh, there you go. 129. Why not? 120 days. Has he just gone up in? He was 180 days before. Okay, now it's 120 days. We're actually we're gonna hit that button. At 180 days, I wasn't willing to hit that button. Planetary anomaly. There's life on others. Victory screen is something that's good to keep an eye on a lot of the time, because it gives you an idea of your tech level versus other people's tech level. If you see that you're falling behind on tech, it is time to ramp up, even if it would be tricksy. I don't know what the AI's flavors are for tech, but I rather expect that the AI doesn't concentrate on tech in early game either. I'd be surprised if it did.
System survey concluded.
Okay, after you've done that, we have this one over here, which we will have a bit of warning because we'll see an empire coming in there, but we also want to close off this one over here. Oh right, crikey. I've not actually seen this. Well, I had seen this one before, but not actually paid attention. Right, we will assemble a rescue force. I'm assuming that needs an army, right? 2 military ships. We're going to research that project. Right, where? Okay. Then we're going to come to this one, and then this one, and this one. Why did I not go for the inside one? because the inside one's going to be much easier to get in the future. Whereas this outside one's going to be, you know, it's going to end up being something that I don't go too quickly because I feel like I don't actually have the ability to expend the resources in that direction early on. Has he not count as a science ship at the moment because he's presumably under attack? Okay, interesting. We're going to go for discovery first, and we are going to switch on map the stars. Alright, we will do when we get enough influence. The reason for that, normally you probably wouldn't do that because it's very influence expensive, and it's not really worth it. Plus 10% anomaly discovery chance, survey speed plus 25%. Really that good. But we're xenophobe, so our starbase acquisition is actually cheaper. Okay, right, lovely. Please get back in dock, and please get back to work. So our construction ship, who I should have in dock, that was a mistake, can still continue to sit there doing. Now this is an example of me being defined by my empire. Normally, in a game like this, I would have seen the resources there, and I'd have gone out and I'd have got them. But we're playing tech heavy, so we want the anomalies to, you know, to research because they give you a really big boost for science. Oh, there's an archaeological dig there as well, nice one. But we're still going to go onto map stars as soon as we can. We're nearly there, 2 more months and we'll have it. Okay, looking at this, I would say that that bollock is a risk, and that bollock is not a risk. It looks like there's only one
system survey concluded.
Lane that will close off that entire bollock.
Anomaly found.
It's 150 days. I'm going to leave it for now. The anomaly research speed reduces as the leader level gets higher. Okay, so that looks like there's only one way into there. So I'm going to go for this bollock next. This is on 1x star lanes. As you go higher or lower, then obviously this decision maker process will change. I have a backup environmental recording, just in case I mute this fucker by accident.
Anomaly
God,
found.
that was so annoying. I was hungover and I just did not want to do that. Okay, right, we're going to research this. Two angled. I don't remember that one particularly well offhand. I don't know the archaeological digs very well at all, to be honest with you. The Cybrex. The Cybrex are a ring world, I think. Pretty sure. Fairly sure. Okay, right. Minor artifacts.
Situation log updated.
Proclaim superiority in a fantastic way. We don't actually have any factions yet, so we're not going to click that button. But you get influence, and I think the other, yes, you get the xenophobe ethics attraction. I think the other way around, you get xenophile attraction, and you get unity, which is kind of strong. You can sell these to private collectors if you really need the money, but I would argue it's not worth it. Oh, we have not switched on Map the Stars. Should have done that earlier. Never mind. We'll only have missed out on 3 opportunities, maybe 4 opportunities to find anomalies. Okay, so looking at this, we still haven't expanded yet. That's not a problem. Don't stress about whether or not you've expanded fast enough. Intriguing. Okay, the rate at which you spend, we are definitely going to leave that be for now. The rate at which you expand, Oh, now here. If you know you're going to get habitable worlds, because we have a higher survey speed, so we probably are going to find these habitable worlds. But if you know you're going to find those habitable worlds, then it's a good idea to go for it. Otherwise, I know 20 influence is 20 influence, but it's 20 influence earlier on. We are going to go for it.
Situation
Okay.
log updated.
Seeing as we got that, and the idea was already in the back of my head anyway, I'm building up a bank of alloys. But seeing as we got that, we will build ourselves another science ship. Now, right, yes, the speed at which you expand will be limited by the speed of your influence income. So even if you have a bank of, I don't know, say 300 influence and a bank of like 2,000 alloys, and you haven't expanded in a while, you will expand really quickly, but then you'll run out of influence. So it doesn't really matter unless you are in a direct competitive race to get to the place that you need to get to, which you typically will be if you're playing against human players. Right, there we are. We need a new leader. We only have 64 quid, so we can't afford any of these guys. So I'm actually going to take a guy off of research. And what do we have to replace them with? We have a guy that's doing engineering. So I'm going to take that lass off of engineering, and I'm going to send them out to a survey. And I'm going to survey there first, and then there, and then there, and there. Actually, no. I'm going to survey there, and then there, and then there, and then there, and then there. Right, so currently, ongoing research lacks a scientist. It's minus 15%, but it's minus 15% of 23 research. That doesn't matter. Like, the anomalies that you find are going to be the same amount of research. So, I mean, that guy has got plus 12, so he's 20% plus 12, so he's getting, what's that? 2.1, is it? Something like that. That he's getting extra. So rather than being 20, it's 22.1, which is not a great deal of change, given that, you know, the numbers you're looking at is 2,000. You need to fill up that number. So it doesn't really matter that you have no scientists here early on. It will matter, obviously, as we start building up our as we start building up our jobs. But we currently still are filling up jobs. We want to get our money back up. We are waiting for that to open up, which will be at the next job, and we're going to slap down a research facility as soon as possible. It was a feasible plan very early on, and isn't necessarily still a bad idea, to replace that admin office with a research lab and then build that there. So knowing that we are going to do that, knowing that we are going to put a research lab there anyway, and we don't actually need the administration, technically speaking, if we do this replace, put a research lab down. Okay, yeah, fine, we are wasting the fact that something was there already and we're going to have to replace that, but we have a mineral excess coming in. Okay, we have sort of, yeah, we have enough to get our colony ship going. Get it going now. So like I say, our actual speed of expansion is limited by influence. It takes ages. It takes a year to build a colony ship. You will build this faster. We will get him in place to do this. Right, lacking 23. We'll get that in 9 months. Vlur, we don't really care about Vlur. Okay, right, let's stop and have a look to see whether or not any of that has actually had an impact on our ethics. We don't have any factions at the moment. Alright, we've still got good. Okay, we're not going to be militarists, there's good news. We're going to end up going towards pacifist because we have the weak trait, which is going to be a problem. Not going to be spiritualist, that's a good thing. And we're going to continue to be more and more and more materialist. Bum, 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 blur. I've never actually had blur do anything other than wobble around doing stuff. Okay, alternatives and scientists level cap by 2, or survey speed by 35%. I would probably say I'm going to go for survey speed. The more anomalies we find, the more bonus research that we have in the early game. What is our happiness looking like now? We have -1 on amenities. We're 61%. 66%, so we're getting plus 9.6. We want to make sure that we get stability up to about 80% and pin it there as much as possible.
Anomaly found.
150 days at this stage is a little bit long. Right. Now that we have a colony ship on the way, we have a big excess of food. We can sell 500 of that for 347 quid. We will go, because this is our capital, we will go sprawling slums and we will liberate that excess pop from there as well. Construction ship, you are waiting for how much more? 11. I'm tempted, you know, to go for archaeologist and start doing that early. Go on, sod it. No, we won't line up science ship yet because we want this at the end of the month after. Okay, right. I would do that jump. Hang on, let's do that properly, John. It doesn't save a whole lot, but it does make these one jump away. Come on. When we out to build this? Beginning of the month. Alright, we'll bang that out. So if we had started building that science ship, we wouldn't have time. Right, so we still have 90 days before the colony ship is ready to be built. This guy, I don't know exactly how long it's going to take to build it. Honestly, I don't, but it seems to go very, very, very quickly. So we'll, by the time that's finished, we'll see how far along he is. Continental world, there is a good idea. Right, count out the jumps. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's just within range of the capital sector, so we're going to keep that one in mind, and that will be a target that we go for. Things that we say yay or nay to early on will be very definitive. Okay, right, so we are 38 days away there. This guy's at 52%. By the time that finishes on the way, he's going to just have finished in time to set up. Okay, yes, system survey has finished there. Where have we got you going off next to? Over here. Okay. Oh, let's unpause. We were thinking about next science ship. We'll get that one lined up.
Anomaly found.
We're 84 days. We'll definitely research that. Oh, right. Didn't have my finger on the pulse there, did I? Missed the fact that we have an excess of workers. Right. I'm going to cancel the sprawling slums then, and I'm going to build another research lab. This is going to put us into negatives for our consumer goods. So we are going to be struggling with consumer goods.
Construction project concluded.
And we're not going to be producing much to be able to sell them. Okay, right, prioritise energy income on this one because that is our current problem. Colony ship, I did sit around on that one for a bit, which was a mistake. See, this is why I wanted to go slow, but I figured, you know, if you're watching a video, then you want to be actually seeing stuff happen rather than sitting there watching me go, So yeah, 40 minutes in so far. We haven't, apparently, it doesn't look like we've done a whole lot. We don't have enough energy, but we can sell food. We don't give a shit about food, really, because we have an excess of food coming in. We will recruit this guy. And we're going to go straight on down and get that excavation going. If I wasn't playing a tech-heavy game, I wouldn't have done that. I probably wouldn't have even got that last science ship. I would have saved up the money and had to replace the guy that's in there.
System survey concluded.
A lucky find. Unfortunately, that didn't give us any more science, but we'll take that on the chin. Okay, right, once you've finished that, we're going to have the mining stations. Okay, what are we running out? Energy credits. We've got 10 months left. We can flog food. And we'll be alright. Now, you're gonna see me go into huge quantities of energy debt. And you're gonna be, what is he doing? Why is he doing that? Seriously, you need energy to run your economy. And arguably, yeah, we do. Crap. I'm not supposed to have done that with research labs, am I? I'm supposed to have done that with bollocks. No, that was supposed to have been in an admin office. Bad, John. Bad mistake. Distracting myself. Okay. We have an unemployed guy, despite us having spare jobs, because he's a robot. However, when that admin office is built, these guys will go up there and there'll still be open jobs that robots can't do. So, we're going to do that. It might seem like a mad-ass idea, but currently we have 2 technician jobs that are being unfulfilled and a robot that can't do them. So let's replace one of them. We're not just going to build an extra mining district, because that would increase our empire sprawl. We're going to replace the district. Okay, right, we're not far away from finishing off. Oh no, sorry, we weren't researching that one, were we? Where are you going? You're going off down that way, you've done that. You're the one that's going.
Initial colonization phase commencing.
Okay, so we do have a colony ongoing. On Zive. You have been lined up.
Anomaly found.
It's 250 days, that's quite a long time. Okay, nice one. Now, this looks like it's going to set us up a new bollock down here.
Construction project
We've
concluded.
committed now to pretty much going in this direction. And it is wise to commit yourself to going in one specific direction. Right, what are we going to do with this construction ship now? We still don't really have the energy to justify getting that engineering. There is an alloy there, which is very, very attractive. And I would argue that going up to get that alloy, not only are we closing ourselves in there, we'll be out. We're going to want to be going in this direction to go down this way anyway. So we can go this direction, then close that door, and then go down south. Closing the doors is more important than expanding outwards. Okay, so we are going to send this guy. 5 is probably the better way to go. I would actually get that 3 trade there. Oh yeah. Okay, we're going up for that 3 trade. That 3 trade is 1.5 energy and 0.75 unity. That doesn't sound like a whole lot. It's probably going to get bigger in the future, but that's more valuable to us than 5 money. Money's not really valuable to us at this point. I'm annoyed that I made that mistake. I'm annoyed at myself. Okay, when we replace that mining district, we are going to end up...
System survey concluded.
Yeah, I think at this point we will research that. We're going to end up with the danger of an unemployed biological pop. So we're going to look then for, even though we have massive housing already, we're going to build another one so that we get the clerk job, so we get the trade up. Okay, if we go to here, we do have rapid breeders and xenophobe. We don't have any migration yet. Right, you, where are you and what are you doing? Why have you stopped? I'm not 100% sure, but you're going to do that. Maybe I clicked on something, I don't know. I'm trying to split my brain to two single directions at the same time, and that's not something that I'm talented at doing. When I'm playing this game, normally all of the thoughts are completely internalized and there's no external monologue. Like my internal monologue is rich.
Research concluded.
But my externalizing that monologue is not normally advantageous. Okay, afterburners. I remember I said I say I never skip afterburners. I very, very rarely ever skip afterburners. Okay, we're still looking at not having a scientist. If we recruit that one instead, because we currently have that one employed over there, so let's get enough for the scientist. We'll find the science ship that has you on. We will replace you with the meticulous guy, and we'll put you back into engineering. Right, okay. Research subsidies. We're not going to have the influence to do an edict anytime soon, and also research stations, which are your orbital infrastructure, not your orbital infrastructure, sorry, your system infrastructure, such as that one I'm not building there because it's not worth the money yet. They would be better, but we don't have any of them right now. Okay, so we're going to go research alternatives and science level cap increase. Whilst we don't actually have any scientists that are high enough to take advantage of the cap, we know that it's going to be coming in anyway, and we want to get down that line. Right. Right, so we have still the unemployed robot. Fascinating. So, it's 5 of 8 jobs there now. That's going to give us 1.
Another scientific breakthrough.
Then we're going to remove 1. And by the time that's happened, that's probably going to have grown into another pop. So, the city district we want to have on hand. We're -9 on money. I'm not particularly concerned about that. At the very worst, I can just let that go into 0. And at 0, all that happens for money at this point, because I'm not in a war, is that my mineral income is chopped in half. Which is, you know, it hurts, but it doesn't necessarily make me lose sleep at night. Okay, right. Fusion reactor before improved deflectors. Again, no point in research station output. If that had been the one that turned up, I wouldn't have gone for that one that time. I would be tempted actually by energy grid if fusion reactor wasn't there. Like I say, there's no point going for shields if you don't have fusion reactor. So even if shields had turned up and fusion reactor hadn't, I wouldn't have picked shields. Right, strategic resource. We've got crystals. Where are these crystals? Up in top. Nice one. Okay, right. We're not too far behind on the influence speed there. Right, we'll slap that one down. Doom, 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 doom.
Research concluded.
I realised on the part 4 when I was trying to explain trade, it would have been much easier had you had the actual voice of me gesticulating, because rather than me trying to figure out what was going on. But here is an example of trade. So for every one of these you go 1 more jump out from your system. So 0 you'll collect from there. With 1, you'll go out 1 jump, and we will go that jump there, and we will collect from there. I am looking at this arrangement right now, and I'm already deciding in the back of my head where I want my my shipyard to be. Pop growth speed plus 10%, nice. Off-world trading company, I would say go for that, absolutely. I mean, our trade still isn't particularly high, 13, but it's high enough to make a difference. We are going to be switching back to consumer benefit at some point, because you can see that we are currently bleeding consumer goods as well. We finished that, yeah, we have, yeah. So we're back up and we're covered on our Empire Sprawl. A couple of days go by, we have another guy who's gone into a job. Those 2 jobs are going to disappear when the mining district comes. We've got a city district on its way in to cover that. Again, like I say, energy is it's there to be abused. You know, like you run your government in deficit because you can run your government in deficit. Oh, we're going up to 51 minutes. I'm probably going to call it at an hour and then restart up the next one. We're still on fast. Don't seem to be going anywhere particularly fast, but we are on fast. You have nearly finished. Okay, once you finish, that will start getting collected. And that
System
is
survey
thanks.
concluded.
And that is what we went to the system to get primarily. 2 and 3, we don't really care about that. So now we're going to come down to here. The only reason we're coming down to there is so that we can get the alloys there and close that off. We're not going to be able to collect that yet, but that's going to be a choke system, and we're going to put a starbase on it which will collect that. So when we can afford the alloys to build a starbase there, even if we don't even put any weapons on it or anything, which would save us for our upkeep, we are still collecting from that system, and we will have a path back to here, and we will have increased our trade again. And like I say, trade is king. Trade is really, really strong. Okay, we're nearly out of money, but I'm looking at this food sitting there with nothing to do, so I'm going to sell both.
System survey concluded.
There is a trick if you're running out of money, where you can just sell a small amount of something, and at the end, and that will do you for the month. And then at the beginning, it'll sort you out for your ships. It won't sort you out for your mineral income, though, because that's calculated at the beginning of the month, and you'll have lost all of that money. So you have to have excess to cover your deficit to have to secure your mineral benefit, but you can't do that. But you can just sell a tiny little bit of stuff in order to secure your military ships from being destroyed. Okay, that is kind of interesting. We're not going to prioritise that. We don't have crystals, but 3 physics. We have a nice collection of physics turning up, and it kind of the idea of building those research stations is starting to form. Oh, look at this. Oh, look at that. Oh. Now, it is sensible to have a starbase above each of your planets at the start and put anchorages on them. So if we had there as our shipyard, which would cover both bollocks, we would probably end up with a starbase over there for anchorage, because we'll end up with deep space black sites at some point in the future, which is governing ethics extraction. That would collect there, and then that one would cover and collect there once we've replaced the shipyard with a trade hub. So that pretty much signifies for us that we're going to put our shipyard there. Oh, come on, how long are you actually doing this for? Show me this archaeological dig. We still haven't got factions. I'm tempted actually to sell to a private collector once off. We're not going to go for that just yet. We're going to leave that be for now, because it's huge. Okay, that's an awkward bollock.
System survey concluded.
So I think we will consider that to be as far as we go south. That's not a very awkward bollock. That's a very awkward bollock. So we're probably going to then go and explore up in that direction, except for the fact that we have a shipyard here, so I might actually go for this one instead. This is like a Cooksk on a risk board. We haven't been building that. We don't have the influence to do that yet, anyway. So you see, I sat there and I didn't grow my empire's borders at all for a fair old while. It didn't make any difference. Okay, fair enough. I did go for the edict. Blah 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 blah. What's it called? Map the Stars, which is very expensive. But rightly speaking, it's not done me that much wrong. Okay. Consumer goods is going to run out apparently in 12 months because 32 divided by 2 is 12. No. We are losing a monthly gain of minus 3.5. We were probably minus 2.7 or something like that beforehand. Okay, we're not going to stress about that. We can sell probably minerals. I wouldn't sell alloys at this point, but we'll probably sell minerals and then buy consumer goods to cover that. That's mainly because these research lab is consuming excess consumer goods, and because we have the academic privilege going on. Population happiness 53. Not overly keen on that, to be honest, but I want factions to pop up. I really want factions to pop up. Okay, you have an experience gain trait. I would argue that experience gain and anomaly research speed are equally good for prioritising anomalies. There's not a whole lot else that is going to be hugely beneficial from. Okay, right, keep digging. What are we getting from that? Just minor artifacts. Okay, I am going to sell. Look. I'm going to sell minor artifact, and I'm going to buy us, it doesn't have to be much, but we're going to buy us some more consumer goods. Can you build that? Yes, you can build that. Right on time.
Survey concluded.
Oh, I've got a collection of Zroad. We need to research Zroad in order to collect it from from a system resource. We need to research it first, but it's nice to have around. Zroad is a nice sellable resource. Unless you're going psionic, it is completely worthless, other than obviously it being incredibly expensive. What have we got here? Continental World 19. You see that it was 2 jumps away from home system. Most of the time you'll have one that's 1 jump away. Sometimes you'll have one that's 2 jumps away. Okay, don't care about building that yet. We're going to go straight up there and we're going to get that one. Then after that we're going to go there, and then we're going to go south. That's nice. That is nice. We will consider how to get the next planet up and running once we've solved consumer goods. Now maybe you're sitting there and you're thinking, well, through consumer goods, that's a bit of a problem. But I'll do the derelict ship. Drag that out the floor. Hopefully that'll be a nice ship for us. Hopefully, fingers crossed, that's actually going to be some fleet.
Special project concluded.
Go on, we'll help
Alien
them.
Empire has established communications.
Ooh. Okay. Saved crew plus 25, nice. You are militarist and materialist. Right, first off, we're going to guarantee your independence straight away. And we are also going to say to ourselves, shit, we've got a tiny little fleet. Also, these guys are going to go into this bollock, and they're only one jump away from securing this in a foothold into this bollock. Hopefully, I'll explore around about here, and they'll do that, and they'll go elsewhere around about here as well. Right, we have science man doing note. It's a shame that we didn't actually get that ship, but never mind. We did start off with a better relation with these guys. Also, we have an envoy who's not doing anything, so we'll send the envoy. They are materialist, so we are likely to form a research agreement with them. Hello? The way forward lies in our hands, Vran. We just spoke to Vran. Fran? Is that you, Fran? I'll come over, Fran. Alright, how long until we can build you? 39. So I'm sitting here and I'm thinking to myself, I need 100 alloys there. One thing I absolutely have to get is that planet. And so with an income of 9, I can get, that's going to be 100, 200, 300, 400 in how long? 1, 2, 3, 4. So have a look at what their, okay, their economy is superior to ours. I would say I'm going to be able to afford 2 ships, but I'm going to build them. Doink. We absolutely need ships being built. Yes, we're going to be able to be friends with these guys. They're unlikely to attack us.
System survey concluded.
But we need it. Right, okay. Leader experience gain 25% is going to be very useful because we have those 2 very, very, very big anomalies that we need to get done. And we don't have the influence available right now for the edict, so we're going to carry on down this tree, and that is going to save us a lot of consumer goods. Excuse me, a lot of consumer goods. Okay, how are we doing for jobs on this planet? Have we finished the city district? We have, and we still have -3 in amenities. We're good for robot jobs as well. We're going to end up chucking robots onto that planet when it's finished. So we're going to end up chucking 3 robots over there. So that's probably going to be, yeah, it's going to be destroying 1 mining district. We'll see how we do when we throw them over there, and I'll stick that in the back of my head, and some more calculations will happen in the back of my head, and hopefully I'll come up and explain why I've made those decisions as and when I have. Okay, is our trust growing with you yet? Yes, trust +1. Nice. Okay, consumer goods has raised its head as being apparently a problem. Oh, come on now.
Anomaly found.
Yes, we will research that anomaly. We haven't had very much science from anomalies so far, actually. I'm unimpressed with that situation. Can we finish off that? 26. Given factions haven't come in, and given that I'm really, really keen on this, I'm going to leave him there. And no, I'm not going to leave him there, actually. I'm not going to translate that. Definitely not going to translate that. And I think I'm going to send him down this way. Because we have to get there before they get there. We really, really want to get there. If we don't get there, we can only really get there. We'll want to go for that 0 and the 11 minerals. They're fine, but hopefully there might even actually be some hostile aliens in one of those systems. Okay, I'm looking like I can flog some stuff and buy some stuff. In fact, I don't even have to flog any. I'm going to buy 2 sets of consumer goods And that's going to be consumer goods out of my mind for a fair old while. How long until we get 28 months? Yeah, we'll have that before we run out of consumer goods. Haganogadongadonga. Who's Haganogadongadonga? Iron Fist. Ooh. We don't actually have much in the way of slaves, but you know, it's nice to have. Right, we're very nearly finished on this. 090201. So yeah, a couple of months and that we're finished. Oh, my voice is getting dry. Oh, we're on 1 hour 5 minutes. Okay, right, fine. I'm going to stop the recording now, save that, and then I'll come back and do more.
Oh, for sake.